afternoon. I'm sure you guys are wondering why these two folks are sitting together. They don't look like from the same country. And obviously we represent two different organizations. So why are we sitting together? That is called digital world, the topic that we are going to address. It's all about, can we merge? Can we collaborate? And can we talk? If we can do this, we can change, we can transform, and everything can be very much affordable. The question mark I see all the time in every conference we go, yes, we are merging, collaborating, and working together. So I am Harsha Vardhan, and I run a group of companies wherein we are largely for 1.5 decades proving that affordability without compromising on quality of healthcare is quite possible. We have done it, and probably we have done it through a single statement: collaborate nicely. Make sure that you work together and work hard. Wherever possible, make sure go frugal, don't reinvent the wheel. And that is what the theme of digital healthcare is all about.
And my name is Michael Koss. I'm the co-founder of an Australian healthcare startup in the digital health space called Quick Clinic. I have a few other healthcare projects as well, but also I'm a lawyer by background and do a large amount of work in the healthcare space looking at patient privacy and cybersecurity.
So, the digital has the biggest issue, cybersecurity. Probably Michael can talk on and on. But we have a hard stop of 30 minutes as requested by the organizer. And we would be like in 20 minutes, great with you guys. I have some of the points that I thought to start with. One is, what do we mean by digital? Why digital healthcare? We all are going digital in our life. We have a digital life today. Look at our behavior. We WhatsApp people, where are you, my friend? I'm on table number 5. Where are you now? Where is my car? Everything is getting through a digital discussion over WhatsApp, Snapchat, or anything that sort. Now you share your report with your doctors over the WhatsApp and saying that, doc, this was my report. Can you comment what else can happen? Where should I go? Whom should I see? That is as basic as and as advanced as artificial intelligence. We just started a simulator-based doctors training program, first of its kind in India, and obviously first of its kind in the world as well, where we are talking about orthopedic surgeries on AI-enabled simulators. The technology was developed in Canada by a very dedicated scientific team. We took it to India, we started working, and then we thought, why do we need it? Why do we need it? A, it reduces my cost of training. B, it increases quality of healthcare. And C, last but not the least, is the affordability of healthcare. Similarly, we are talking about precision medicine today. The technology has changed the entire world. We are talking about genomics. As low as 2,500 rupees, 50 AUD, or 20 Australian dollars, going back to the era of, genomics as luxury. If you compare, we are talking about retail genomics. This is all technology, nothing else. Look at the way we have transformed ourselves. We have got examples around you, sitting around you, that talks about the transformation already happening, transformation that has happened through digital technology. So before I get into, the real gist of digital health, I would like Michael to talk more about how it happens between both the countries when he came to India, and now he's working back with us for last 3 years. So I would say in and out every day.
Well, it's pretty much an interesting story, really. But the real crux of it is, in Australia in particular, we are very well known for innovating wonderful medical technologies and research, and similar in other parts of the world too. But there's a missing piece when it comes to commercializing and how you get penetration, be it at a retail level and getting consumer-facing digital health products to gain impact, or at a clinician level, is very different. And coming to a market like India, they're particularly early on in the journey, there's a big focus in how do you commercialize, how do you integrate into the healthcare system, and you can evolve your product much earlier on to be able to address the mass markets of the world, as opposed to really just sitting as a patent on the shelf. And that's the risk that a lot of Australian companies have faced. And as you mentioned, in the genetic space, that's really one of the great industries which have become technology enabled, that's transcending both retail levels it's gaining a consumer appreciation at a retail level and creating the expectation among patients that their more advanced treatments, particularly in oncology or pharmacogenomics, are going to be informed by the new technologies available. And so by looking at these consumer trends, particularly in healthcare, we're able to leverage technology to provide realistic, affordable, and genuine interventions in the patient story.
So, how many of us know about nutrigenomics in this room? 1, 2, 3. Don't hesitate. I would not ask you any question. Please, it has been a buzzword. Every time you switch on your radio in your car, you'll realize somebody's talking genetics. Do you know your genes? Do you know how well designed or worse designed you are? Why have this question emerged as a leading question in day-to-day life? Look at, I would not say the brands because I'm not promoting without charging them, but there are brands in the country, in the world, who are claiming to be the leaders in affordable genomics. What made them so good at pricing? Have they cut down the cost internally, or are they burning their investors' money? Nothing of that sort. The technology has been changing. The evolution is towards merging technology. So one person just runs the test, the other guy will take it to the interpretation unit, and the third guy markets it off. We have divided our cost. We have made sure that when it reaches the consumer, we are more affordable by sharing work, not by doing everything ourselves. Earlier it was very costly. If you market, design, work, you would be the costliest. So the aggregators are making it very easy. In the whole of world, everything works on the same formula. Look at Mercedes-Benz. They have got 8 different companies supplying different, I would say, components, making it a brand called Mercedes-Benz. Same for Honda, same for Hyundai, so same for healthcare. Healthcare started following the retail way. The sound engineer is not liking me at all. He's saying this is bad. Aggregation not a good idea. So the idea of working together is first thing that technology is talking now. We have a hospital, we have a unit run by team of radiologists. We have another unit of teleradiology taking the data away from that specific unit, doing an affordable interpretation. So I'm not charging my patient or overcharging my patient because I have a small unit with 3 patients a day, so I'm going to recover my entire salary from those 3 patients. No, I would be sharing that machine data to a bigger center back anywhere in the world or India, or vice versa from any part of the world to India. We are doing a lot of interpretations from US-based radiology centers. First example, can be connected, can be seen. The second example where I feel very much excited nowadays is we talk about second opinion on telemedicine, like our previous speaker was talking about. He has got certain patents around the same. I believe, yes, the second opinion over the telemedicine reduces our cost of treatment, because end of the day, I'm not traveling to United States to just meet a doctor, or vice versa, somebody is not traveling from United States to India for second opinion. We can do it in a very simplified fashion using a Skype or a WhatsApp chat or whatever. The third, which I want to cover with you guys in a very systematic fashion, is the real uses of technology in healthcare that is usable by everybody and anybody, even if you're not a doctor or you're a doctor. So before I continue, because this is more like addition to the microphone, Michael, would like to add something more here?
Yeah, sure. Particularly on the telemedicine front, it's one of the great hopes about changing the patient journey and how health is being accessed. But globally, until last year, we've not seen a country have more than 1.25% of their doctor consults occurring via telemedicine. That's really been capped off. But in 2019, we're expecting a 50% increase in the use of telemedicine, largely based on India. The global number of consults should be rising from 3.5 million per year to about 7 million per year. And so we're seeing the adoption coming from really this part of the world because of necessity that doesn't seem to be existing elsewhere. Likewise, in countries such as Australia, there are plenty of behavioural reasons which is why people aren't adopting telemedicine and reducing the burden on the healthcare system in that way and maximizing the time of doctors and all the other benefits. So it's really fascinating being in this part of the world and seeing the readiness to jump on board in technologies and to be able to make a difference in the patient life.
So I'll, just now add to this house some knowledge that we have gained through our practices, and sharing that will help you a lot. So I run a brand, a company called Genome Analyst. As the name says, we have a genomics house. We have another company called Digitology that does a lot of digital health. And when we combine together, that gets into precision medicine. So we do more than 100,000 patients a year, which is a good number for us to justify that we understand what a patient would need when he or she comes to our facility. Down the line, if I try and add my digital knowledge on the top of it, I can talk about artificial intelligence-led genomics. So we are trying in our own capacity, in our own labs, to reduce the price point. And just to share with you guys, we could reduce the price by 75%, in past 3 years of practice, and we are still making profits. So end of the day, when I have a cancer patient coming, as we were talking a lot of cancer today in previous, discussions, which is also a global issue now, we have reduced the price of the same test sold at 6,500 to the patient to 1,900 rupees without cutting any corner, because we can do mass RT-PCR, which was not so possible in the past.
But what's also really exciting about this line is that there are pharmacogenomic oncology-based hospitals which are coming up, all with precision treatments specifically for a specific person's type of cancer. And looking at the regulatory environments in other countries, be it Australia, you wouldn't be able to run that sort of model. You would have to get all of your medications approved individually. The only way then to access personalized treatments is through importing through other countries according to very strict laws the TGA has set up. And so it's interesting seeing how this promise of better care and precision care is manifesting, and the laws in other countries is really prohibiting it from coming up in a bigger way.
Yeah, agreed. Because while I was evaluating some technologies back in Melbourne with Peter Mac, that is one of the flagship in oncology treatment programs in the world, we realized we have the same set of machines and we do more number of cases in India. Just by sharing, our knowledge together, we can utilize the scientific base they have created and the clinical, database that we have here in India. I mean, doing 100,000 patients for us is a regular affair. For Australia, that was the news. When I was talking to the team back in Australia at Peter Mac, the chief scientific officer, he came running to me saying that, can we collaborate? We have a huge load of scientific data with us, but we don't have a clinical data available. And I said, vice versa is true with us. We have got huge load of clinical data with us. We don't have scientific data because we don't get some extra hours in our life to sit back and even collate and analyze what we have done in past 10 years is almost 1 million patients. So the collaboration, the digitalization of things is happening. The digital PCR, as I said, has reduced the price. Similarly, I look at eICU, the another innovation that we are doing now, which is the smartest way of treating your patient. Everybody, when you go to a hospital, you are worried about price of the ICU bills, right? Every day it's a bomb money that you pay anywhere in the world, not just in India. We are reducing that price. We already have got the machines ready. We have got a protocol ready that actually connects everything from the base to the treating doctor, including the machines that are pumping medicines in your body back, on a very efficient fashion. And we have made sure that the price should not be more than $30 to the patient every day. So look at the pricing of ICUs, look at the pricing of genomics, look at the pricing of treatment, and then comes the most beautiful thing that we have evolved with is precision medicine. I would say, why are we creating super bugs? Why should I give you one specific antibiotic? Why I should give you a spectrum of antibiotic? The answer lies in precision medicine. I should know who am I. My doctor should know who he is and whom he is treating. With what? We should not treat ourselves as guinea pig. That happens all across the world, by the way. It's not just India. So probably that precision medicine and affordable precision medicine that we could achieve in past, I would say 3.5 years of research, we means not our company, all across the world, the joint research work that happens and the central database that was created is going to be another, I would say, flagship outcome of research and clinical collaborative outcome.
I think this is a really big point, that the current state of many of the big specialties, be it neurology, dermatology, they're being practiced as they were very similarly to 100, 200 years ago. There haven't been any big innovations. So to be able to make a dent in these specialist industries doesn't take that much. And so long as you're consulting with intensivists or surgeons, specialists in the field, the innovators in the group should be able to come up with something that can contribute to the patient's lives and make the doctor's lives a bit easier. But it really is that consultation and getting to understand the specialty, which is going to make the difference between being a novelty and being something that can gain genuine applicability in the industry.
Yeah, you're right. Basically, with a lot of buzzwords, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, we sometimes find it difficult to understand in simplified fashion. And I would say everything is very simple. We all are using virtual reality every day, everywhere. Look at your kids. They use that Oculus, gears, and they watch movies. This is virtual reality, right? We just use that specific platform in healthcare to justify cost reduction without compromising on the quality. And that is what virtual reality is all about. If you Google today the news that we could create over past 1 year, we have tried our best to put our money in the market first and prove that, look, this is what you can do. You can achieve. It's not just about delivering a lecture or talking to you across the table. It's all about, can we do it? And believe me, we did it. And I'm sure many of us have done it in the room with the many leaders sitting here who are really the innovators and implementers of the world. I can say the best time is now. The best time is now when everything is happening. The technology is getting simplified. The phone cameras are better than the DSLRs and the professional cameras. This is just a digital transformation. The same thing we are applying in healthcare. You can take your phone camera, just put it on the top of a microscope, and connect the lenses across. That is called digital pathology. We tested that in some of the fields back in Australia with a guy called Peter Jordan, and that worked. It worked like anything, and that man is working on a spectrophotometry. He wanted to take snap of the malarial, the mosquitoes carrying malarial parasite, and he had no DSLR at that point in time. So what he did was he just connected his normal, beautiful camera phone, and he could capture that and share to the world immediately, because then you don't have to take it to your CPU or computer and connect it to the internet because your phone has everything inside. The same we did with eICU, our IoT-based device captures the entire data from the source itself. So I'm not going to, incur cost of multiple lakhs or, a big data center just to take my data from source to the concerned hospital. These are very simplified examples of how we are going to change the whole way today healthcare is happening, which is called healthcare 2.0, I believe.
And there definitely has been a constraint when it comes to hardware in particular for the adoption of, let's say, virtual reality technologies where additional sensors would have to be bought and positioned around a room and things of that nature. And the technology is really catching up now to where the software has been. But in addition to that, we're seeing, particularly from digital health companies, a readiness to go to the TGA, FDA, or get CE approval for their devices as a mark of endorsement for what they're doing, and also to assume more risk in the process. In the 2012, 13, 14 period, there were a lot of startups popping up in the space, but it was very risk averse, and no one was really making a particular intervention in the patient journey. And we're seeing, particularly among investors as well, a change in the mindset that investment and risk go hand in hand in getting penetration in the healthcare sector. And we're seeing the resurgence of digital health as a result, particularly in the wearable space, where we're getting clinical results as opposed to something you would have to still take to a doctor and there wouldn't really be a difference in what you're doing.
I agree with you, Michael. Everybody now wears a smartwatch. Look at us. We are looking at our heartbeat, rhythm, SpO2 while we are walking. We never thought of these things happening in the past, but today it is sold at peanut price. You can have one of the best companies charging you a bit of good cost because that is a brand cost. But you can have something which is not so branded, does equally good. Your phone has a sensor on the back of it. I don't know how many phones have, but some of the phones have, my phone has, where you touch and that can talk about your stress level, that can talk about your SpO2 level. I think these things are now happening. We are more concerned with the digital health. One should not think only health happening virtually. Digital health is everything that is happening to us now. Our entire X-ray setup, our entire treatment program, our connectivity, our second opinion, drug discovery. Talking to your doctor is now different. You Google before you talk to your doctor. Look at your behavior. This is digital health. You go to WebMD and look at the reasons, or Quora. You look at the reasons why I should have rashes. What should I do when I have rashes? Should I go to a sauna or take a spa or go to a doctor? There are a number of reasons that have been answered by technology itself, reducing a lot of mysteries. So, all combined together, digital health is something which is part of our life and would grow, would keep growing, would grow in next couple of months, I would not say years, in a way that it takes care of everything that we need in healthcare sector.
Should we have some questions before we have to break for tea?
If people have found us interesting, they must be having some questions. There are two things that could have happened. Either we were so good that we were very clear, or we were so bad that you guys said, oh God, save us. Only digital can help you now.
So when we're speaking of digital technology, and when you say we have phones, when you just keep it and it senses our stress levels, how about, don't you think it takes the ability of the person to understand his or her own stress level? Should we be so dependent on digital technology for understanding our own stress levels?
This is such a beautiful question which was answered by the previous speaker so well, the Ayurveda, and there was a lady, she helped us with the stretch and other stuff. You understand that you are stressed, but you actually want to understand how much stressed you are, because you can't look into the molecular level of stress. So naturally, sometimes you want to understand whether my oxygen carrying capacity is really working or not, whether my heartbeat, I can feel the heartbeat, sometimes I can sense it, but I want to understand what stress what kind of stress I have and what is the level of that stress. That parametric evaluation of a stress can be done only through a digital technology, not through your inner, soul, as long as, you are a normal human being.
Yeah, I wanted to raise, I guess, parallel to stress. This year in the state of Victoria in Australia, trials are being undertaken similar to breathalyzing tests for drivers or drug tests for drivers. It's fatigue tests for drivers. And even though we all pretty much know when we're tired, there are certain limits which change physiologically the experience of fatigue and the risk factors then associated with driving. And so technology is able to read that probably better than ourselves at some stage, and the effect that's having on us. And if it's at a point where we're not safe to be on the roads, then technology is going to be able to help us there. It's a fascinating way to look at ourselves and society, that we're being read in that way, but the technology is able to do it. It's being built around very sophisticated algorithms. I think it's ultimately then a personal choice, particularly on stress, if you want to engage those technologies and get those insights.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question from the entire house. How many of you believe in genomics? 1, 2, see, if you are alive, you have to believe in genomics anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. My question to the house now is, how many of you believe that if I know my genomic profile, it can help me to evolve with immunity, better lifestyle, and longevity? Wow. At least there is 3% in the house that believe so. Now, finally, how many of you have got tested for any of these genomic tests in the past? None of you. You know why? Because there is a mystery that this is very complicated, this is difficult, or this is useless. If I come to know that I have chances of getting cancer, how, and well, where does it make a sense to me? It makes a lot of sense to you. It makes a lot of sense to me. Because then I can go to my doctor every year for a preventive checkup program, and I would not be great for cancer patient, talking about spirituality and how to manage your last 15 months of life. So probably we all should pledge today that it's not about genomics, genetics, digital health. It should be, as we say, wellness. We are talking about wellness today. When you go back home, think about this one life that we all have. How can we ensure our health? And whatever is the best way is called technology-enabled health. Whatever makes you the best healthy person on this Mother Earth is called healthcare. Wellness is about well-being, what we all have been talking for the entire day, but it can't happen without we are really well, right? So please, when you go back home, don't feel like genomics, genetics, or precision medicine are just for academic discussions or research work. Next door neighbor, next door service provider at your city would be doing something very beautiful. You can just go there, talk to him nicely, and have bombs of questions. Ask him hundreds of questions. Make sure that you select the correct provider and make yourself and your family very safe. Don't go for the insurance that if I die, I can get 5 crore back. Make sure that you earn 5 crore for your family. Thank you so much for this patient hearing.